indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Roll call.
Okay. Mr. Shi?
Here.
Mr. Mohin Patel?
Here.
Ms. Peng?
Here.
Ms. Conway?
Here.
Dr. Chen?
Here.
Ms. Butovsky?
Here.
Ms. Madiker?
Here.
Ms. White?
Here.
Mr. Burrell Patel?
Present.
All present.
Opening statement. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Edison Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Board of Education administrative offices. Copies of the notices were sent to the Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger on January 5th, 2021. The public may participate at regular meetings in accordance with the bylaws and applicable state regulations. Now we're going to the regular agenda. So, resolutions and reports. Dr. Bragan.
Hey, can I borrow it? Excuse me one second, my iPad's not logging in, so.
Back up.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry. Happens.
All right, if you take a look at some of the resolutions there we have, there's a meeting date change in July, and that's basically to accommodate the annual Bragan summer vacation to Lake George, so. And, you know, that date, I should have picked that when we picked the calendar dates, but we're moving that 1 week earlier in July. The approval of the purchasing agent, which would be our interim business administrator, Gregory Brennan, who can't be here because there was a death in his family. But our purchasing agent is moving on. She's got a job as an assistant business administrator in another district. So we're going to appoint Greg as that position. The teacher and educational services professional recognition. We have a video that we put together to recognize our teachers of the year at each school and our educational professionals at each school. Look forward to doing that. We're going to have that on Tuesday's meeting. And, you know, in years past, we would have a recognition, would bring the people in, but we don't want to reduce. We're reducing that due to social distancing for this year, so it'll be a video. And I'm going to try to visit each school and personally greet each person and acknowledge their service to the district and their recognition. Special Education Week was last week. We wanted to make sure we just to formally recognize that, all the efforts of our teachers who work with some of our most needy children, and the programs that we have in place to help those students that are most in need of supportive services. For curriculum and instruction, each year we have to approve an evaluation rubric for teachers, as well as one for principals, supervisors, and administrators. In Edison here, since I've been a supervisor here years ago, we've had our own instruments that we developed and got approved by the state. Each year we annually get those reapproved. You'll see the field trip approvals are going to be listed as resolutions as well. And that's an FCCLA trip over the summer. We're very proud of that program. We typically have students that compete at the national level and have state officers in that program. And that's continuing for this summer as well. We have some professional development opportunities that you'll find on the agenda. Highlighted there are some counseling, professional development for our school counselors in Seattle. And while there is a cost involved to that, we find that it's really beneficial, and a lot of the information and some of the services they get are very instrumental in helping our students as they select the college process. So you'll find that on the agenda as well as our out-of-district placements, which, you know, that's a fluid document that changes on a monthly basis. Students transition in, transition out from our out-of-district school placements. I think that's all I have. Mr. Board President.
Thank you.
Ms. Clark.
Business Administrator,
Can I
Board
ask
Secretary.
a question? Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I can ask a question. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Dr. Bragan, just wanted to know about the purchasing agent. It says that he can award contracts that do not exceed 44,000, is that a norm? Or is it like above the threshold that is usually allowed by the state?
Correct. That 44,000 is the bid threshold.
Okay, so with the purchasing agent, that is?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But we did have something that we're gonna look at anything over $25,000.
That's correct.
Oversighting.
Yep.
Yeah,
What
although
does that mean?
Anything over $25,000, the committee would like to look at it.
Okay.
The Finance and Facilities Committee.
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
But then this says that he can operate without the committee looking at it? So can we add that language here?
The resolution is prepared in accordance with the state guidelines, so that's our practice. I don't know if I'd want to change that.
Okay.
Because we want to make sure our qualified purchasing agent operates within the state guidelines. We can always have more stringent guidelines if we choose to, and I think, as Mr. Shi said, that's about at least 6 months or longer we've done that. And it's not a bad practice when we expend a lot of money to have it go through our Finance and Facilities Committee, so everybody takes a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so Ann?
Okay, for the finance report, the investment report for the period ending April 30th has a little over $7,400 in interest, and the year-to-date interest is $67,446.50. The April 22nd caucus meeting and the April 27th public meeting minutes, as well as the board secretary report and the treasurer of school monies report, have been given to the board to review, and then these items will be approved at the May 25th public meeting. The finance resolutions this month consist of a transfer of funds totaling a little over $202,000, the submission of the School Violence Prevention Program grant for an amount up to $500,000 with the local match of at least 25% to provide improved school safety technology and services to prevent and deter school violence. You also have the acceptance of the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2021 grant for fiscal years 21 through 23 in the amount of $4.3 million. For learning acceleration in the amount of a little over $280,000, and for mental health in the amount of $87,791. This grant will provide additional support to assist in safely reopening schools, measuring and addressing significant learning loss, and taking other actions to respond to the impact of COVID-19 on educators, students, and families. We have the acceptance of the school security grant in the amount of $916,092. The amendment of the ESEA Consolidated Grant for the revision of fiscal and program changes to Title I-A, Title II-A, Title III Immigrant, and Title IV-C Part A, and the allocation of additional carryover funds to Title I SIA Part A in the amount of $9,093. The bid for the Lincoln School asbestos abatement was awarded to Pope Contracting, Inc. for their low bid amount of $62,500. We will rebid award of pupil transportation athletic buses for the remainder of the 2021 school year. We have the purchase of 5,350 MacBook Air computers payable over 4 years with 0% interest and provided discounts with the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey's corporate bid, pending board approval, board attorney approval and BA approval. We have the acceptance of the award for the maximum sale of 5,101 high school MacBooks with a minimum guarantee of a little over $1.7 million, as quoted and sold to Second Life Mac. We have the acceptance of the award for the sale of 1,500 unusable district iPads in the amount of $136,500, as quoted and sold to Second Life Mac. We have the approval of the special education tuition contract agreement with the Union County Educational Services Commission for the 21-22 school year. We have the approval of the coordinated transportation agreement with the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey for special education, non-public, public, and vocational school students for the 21-22 school year. We have miscellaneous non-public school security aid service orders We have obsolete items no longer functional for use in the district. And we have the bills list as of April 30th totaling over $29.4 million, and the monthly transportation report. And that's it for the finance.
Thank you. Any board members, any questions for Ann? No? Okay, I just have a quick question about this violence and prevention grant. With a local match of at least 25%, what does exactly that mean? That we chip in at least 25%?
Violence and vandalism.
That's item number 2.
Oh, yes, okay, so that, right, for an amount up to $500,000 with a local match of at least 25% to provide improved school safety technology and services to prevent and deter school violence. That I'd have to check with our grant coordinator.
Okay.
Okay?
But anyway, we're getting some money, that's good. Thank you. All right, so we're moving along. Oh, we're moving along very quickly. All right, board member open discussions. So we're gonna go that way this time. Biro, yeah, anything you wanna say?
All right. Okay, so we are happy to inform with great pride that I updated about this last time. The children of Woodbrook Elementary School have reached World Finals for Odyssey of the Mind. They're going to go in person to participate in the World Finals, and there is a team GoFund initiative to support the cost of the children, so they can go there, do well, and hopefully win and bring great pride to our school district. It's organized by Woodbrook PTO, so everyone is encouraged to take a look, whoever wants to contribute to that. J.P. Stevens High School students Shraddha Hariharan won the prestigious award after being selected from pool of 16,000 finalists for national merit. So that's a great achievement for the school. We mourn the passing away of Harry Mohan. Thanks to Dr. Bragan resolving that bus stop issue. That was very helpful. I myself traveled around those streets, and it was indeed a necessity. So thank you for that. We hope everyone enjoyed and contributed in whatever way they can to the Teachers Appreciation Week and the Nurses Appreciation Day. And Councilwoman Joyce Freeman is here. She's organizing a peace rally on Sunday, so she'll tell more about it. So everyone hopefully can participate in that one. That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, Jerry?
Thanks, Jerry. Just 3 things I have, 2 things I just noticed. First is in our opening statement, it says copies of the notices went out on January 5th. Is that the regular practice? It just goes like once in the beginning of the year, that's it?
That was just
Usually when the calendar dates are set up, we do send notice out for the whole year. That's why if we change it, we want to make sure we notify.
Okay. I just noticed it for the first time, actually.
Okay.
And the second thing I noticed was that it says the meeting capacity at 35%. Oh, sorry. The meeting capacity, no more than 35%. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we ever have 35%, but I think the state changed the regulation, right? So maybe that is something else.
Agreed.
That needed to be changed. And the final thing I want to bring up is the emails that we've been getting about the junior varsity team, baseball team, and the fields are in a state of disrepair, which is kind of a safety issue. So I'm just hoping that we are doing something to fix those fields because we don't want the kids to get injured. That's all.
Just on the JPS condition of the JV and varsity baseball field, myself and Will Calabas, our Director of Facilities and Grounds, Building and Grounds, we walked the field after we got a few emails and some complaints, and we actually had a Zoom call with the administrative team and a few representatives from the parents that had those concerns. We brought it up to the Finance and Facilities Committee meeting on, I believe that was Monday. We put a plan in place to address some of the immediate issues, and we're looking at exploring some long-range options to address those concerns. But we're going to do everything we can right away to make sure it's in a playable fashion and a safe manner for the children, and some of those mitigation things have already taken place.
Okay, great. Because kids are playing right now, so, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah, thank you.
Carol?
Okay, I was going to bring up the same thing Shivy just did about the J.P. Stevens baseball and softball fields. And I'd like to thank Dr. Bragan and Finance and Facilities because they're already working on that.
Anything else?
That's all.
Okay, Jen? Okay, Dr. Chen? Okay, yeah.
This is a great time of year for me, and I'm changing hats for a minute if you'll indulge me. I'm also the chairperson of Edison's PTA-PTO Scholarship Committee. And this year, again, we'll be awarding a $6,000 scholarship to an Edison High School recipient and a J.P. Stevens recipient. And you think each year they can't get any better, these students. And boy, am I wrong. Every year they seem to get more phenomenal each year, and I'm proud of each one of them. And I would just like to let you know about the two recipients. From Edison High School, we have Crystal Ramnaran, and she will be going to Cornell University to become a dermatologist. And reading her bio, in high school, she played volleyball, she was on student council, she was on a dance ensemble, she was on National Honor Society, and she was also a competitive dancer where she performed on Broadway, she performed for the Harlem Globetrotters, and she also participated in Disney's Christmas Parade, just to show you the numerous activities that these young people get involved in and still have a GPA over 5.0, which just boggles my mind. I'm so proud of Crystal. But then again, at J.P. Stevens, our winner is Smit Patel, who will be going to Rutgers for a biomedical engineering degree, both undergraduate and graduate. And Smit participated in what's called a Watsman Student Scholarship Program throughout high school, which is a very elite program, and he was part of it. He was also in the National Honor Society, the English Honor Society, the Spanish Honor Society. He was part of the GPS Weekly, and he avidly volunteered at JFK Hospital. And his GPA well over 5.0 also. So Smit, I'm also so proud of you. And at this time, I'd like to give, if I can, a special thank you to both Jody Califano and Josephine Jenzik of the high school that helped our committee be able to process the scholarship in a different fashion this year. Because of everything being remote, they were able to set it up for us, have the students apply, have the trustees read the applications, and be able to reach out to the students to let them know that they are our two elite students receiving our scholarships. So I just needed to share my excitement at a continuance of having such great students in Edison School District. Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. White?
Okay, I just have a little update on the Parent Help Desk. I did touch base with Ralph Barca, and he gave me a little bit of information here that I'd like to share with you. Our time frame, we launched on April 19th, and this report goes up to May 20th. We have 3 active departments that are working right now doing Parent Help Desk. The first one is technology. They created 1,574 tickets. They have 281 tickets still open, and they closed 1,293. Enrollment created 26 tickets. They have 0 tickets open, and they closed 26 tickets. Transportation created 24. They have 0 tickets open, and they closed 24. Now, we know that the help desk, this is going to be, these different departments, it's going to be waves. In the summertime, you're going to see a spike in enrollment. When we get closer to the opening of school, you're going to see a spike in transportation. Right now, we're still working on getting special services, up and running, and we do want to add a few more. So this is a work in progress. I thank you for your patience, but most of all, I thank you for using it, because the only way we're going to know if it's really going to work is if people use it and get back to us and let us know the good points and let us know the bad points. We want to hear both. So thank you again, and good job, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? That's it? That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Well,
Just want to say thank you, Jeannie, for bringing that report. It's exactly what we need to do. Use the parent help desk to guide us through any questions, concerns, any issues, to make sure that they get resolved on time. So thank you.
okay. All right, so since we're on the parent help desk, we're just going to add, Jeannie mentioned the special ed is coming up next. The other things that we have on the horizon are issues related to athletics, issues related to food, and also academic issues. So those are things will be added on. So just stay tuned when we make this application a little bit better. I do have one question for Dr. Bragan. There are some discussions, from parents after the governor had that executive order of returning to full capacity in September. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, obviously that's something we've been following closely. And, the governor made the decision early this year to afford parents the opportunity to have their students attend school remotely if they so choose to do that. And in our district, we had probably close to 70%, pretty consistent throughout the year, up or down a percentage or two on either side of that chose that option. And while that was a way to mitigate some of the impact of the pandemic and allow people the comfort level to have the education from their home and not having to come into the schools when the virus was at its peak, it was really difficult for our teachers to teach students that are in person and to teach students that are remote, and to go back and forth. And while we tried to accommodate and create two separate pods to do that, we were unable to do that for a variety of reasons. So now that the governor's position is that come September 1 of 2021, that option will no longer be there to be educated remotely. We're looking forward to returning back to school, to in-person instruction. I had a meeting with the PTO representatives today, and one of the concerns that they had, well, how would you do that with social distancing parameters, especially at a school like John P. Stevens? And we can't do that. You can't eat lunch 6 feet apart at J.P. Stevens with 2,600 students in here, even with some of the modifications we're making to the lunchrooms. So the expectation is in September, and we're hopeful, and we have to monitor the situation, of course, as we approach that date, that we will not need to do those parameters. Hopefully we will not need to wear masks. The incidence of the virus in our community, in our state, and in the nation is significantly declined. Every day, it looks like the vaccination rate increases 1%. I think we're at 58% in New Jersey that have at least one vaccination in, one shot. And as we approach that herd immunity, I hope that we really get to a point where this virus is something we look at in the rearview mirror, and we get farther and farther away, and it kind of dissipates over the horizon. So right now, our anticipation is September of 2021 will be reminiscent of September 2019. School returns back to normal. And I'm hopeful. That's what we're planning for. One of the parents expressed concerns today, well, what if something happens and it changes with the virus? As you know, as our school demonstrated, if need be, we can pivot pretty quickly. We went to totally remote instruction in about 2 days' notice, and they did it very successfully. So we know if that has to happen, we're ready, but we're hoping that it won't, and that's what we're planning for as we move forward.
Okay, thank you. So I just have a couple, one quick announcement. Next Wednesday, over here at J.P. Stevens, the J.P. Stevens High School Band will present its 45th annual jazz band extravaganza. It is 6:30 in the front lawn. You will have the jazz band, you'll have the concert band, and it's going to be a great performance. So bring the lawn chair right in front of the J.P. Stevens next Wednesday, 6:30. Right. The other thing is, I saw some people mention about Lincoln School, and we also have one resolution about the asbestos removal for the classroom. We're going to connect to the new wing. I just want to let you know that the bid for the construction of the Lincoln School is out, and the opening of the bid is the 27th. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so 27th, we're going to open up the bid, and then we'll award the bid based on, what they bid it on, and we'll go through a process to make sure that these people are valid contractors. And we're hoping to award the contract at the next, the June board meeting, and shovel on the ground after the school close. So stay tuned on that. There's also, I saw some discussions about the Red Cross certificate. I spoke to Dr. Charlotte today before the meeting. We submitted all the documents to the Red Cross before the pandemic, but during the pandemic, the paperwork got lost, so we have to resubmit. Now all the paperwork are there, and my understanding is the certificate is ready. We just have to work with them to get them into our school so we can award to the students, okay? So that's all I have. All right, so anybody else has anything else before I open up to the public? All right, so public comments. Anybody?
Councilwoman Joy Ship Freeman, 41 Main Street. Just three quick bits of history first before I go on with this. First, in celebration of AAPI month, there is a celebration and a congratulations of Sergeant Luistro for being the first sergeant in Edison, New Jersey within the police department. 67 years ago, the same age as me, the Supreme Court voted Brown versus the Board of Ed to desegregate all the schools in the United States. And it's also the anniversary of the Tulsa Greenwood Massacre. Okay, now, these other three things I was asked. Who actually is on the library board?
Molly Patel.
So her name goes off the library board.
She's
not on the library board because she's listed on the library board.
You mean Shannon Penn?
Yeah, and we don't have alternates. Like if you're not here, there's no alternate for you. So our library board doesn't have alternates.
That's Mohin is a board.
So he is the official person on the library board. He has his card and everything within the
Board
trustee
president?
system.
May I answer?
Yes, go ahead.
So I've attended 5 meetings of the library board. They're
No,
public meetings.
one time the two of you attended a meeting and they had to tell you you
That was
can't
the
have two
first
people
meeting.
on there.
That was the first meeting
That
of
was
the
the
year?
first meeting.
The issue has
and
been
then
resolved.
There was, correct. And then after that, there was one person that was assigned for that, and that was myself. It's on the library
Just let me know.
website. We had 5 meetings.
So you have your card that says you are a
I don't need a card.
trustee.
If they want to give a
You
card,
paid
they
the
can
money
give
to
a card.
become a trustee, because we pay money every year, because I was on the library for all those years, and each year we had our trustee card. That's what we used to identify us as being on the board. Okay, so that's taken care of. So that'll be the person. I'll let them know that's exactly which direction which we're going.
Oh, they already
Okay,
know.
now,
already know.
They
now,
They
already
already
know.
know.
excuse me?
They already
They
know.
already
No,
know.
no. Well, listen, other people were asking me when they seen the list that you had one person as an alternate, and we don't have alternates. So when they looked at the list and they seen both names, they said, there's no such thing as an alternate. You have your time and it's done in December 31st. Thank
Joyce,
you very
for
much.
4 months,
Excuse me,
there's been one.
excuse me, I'm talking, stop
you
being
asked
rude.
for that question.
Excuse me, stop being rude.
You asked the
Okay,
question.
everything comes through the president, it does not come through you. I know how things work, okay?
4 months.
Number two, excuse me, stop being rude. You love being rude to women. Stop being misogynistic.
That's false. You should stop
being
politicizing right now.
misogynistic, stop it.
You stop it.
Okay? Now, some people asked about the cricket situation. They said, did the kids have to use the municipal places where the adults could use the school?
Okay, yeah, well, I'm sorry I interrupt you, but, yeah, why don't you ask all the questions, I'll answer them.
Okay, and last but not least, because of the misogynistic behavior, all the hate and everything, we're having a peace rally on Sunday from 2 to 4, where everybody will be respected and talked to properly, and that's how we're going to address it. We're having a peace rally for Edison, New Jersey. People who are concerned about peace and harmony and uniting the community like we used to be are all invited to come. Okay, now I can ask the questions about the cricket.
The cricket, I don't know where you get your information from.
No, wait a minute, that's why I'm asking. That's
No,
why I'm asking.
I'm answering, so
Yeah.
just let me answer your question, okay? So I don't know where you get your information from, but when the cricket team signed with the board, as part of the agreement is whenever the school children wants to use the field, they have priority.
So the children have first
So,
priority.
there's no back and forth, I'm sorry. So let me answer your question, then then you can come back for rebuttal. So I don't know where this issue come from, but it's very clear they all signed in that agreement that the school children have priority. So that's what it is.
No, I'm asking that question because that's just someone, when someone tells me to come back and forth and tells me to ask, when someone tells me to ask a question, I'm not disrespectful, I ask the question. So now that you've given me the answer, so now when I take it back to them, they can't have disinformation. They can't be misinformed because you gave me the correct answer.
Yes.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you very
being
much.
respectful to my questions.
Thank you. Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Get closer. There you go. Thank you.
Mr. Shi, I would like to say thanks to the teachers and the principals that are actually supporting. It's already fourth marking period midterm. And I would like to especially call Dr. Valentine from John Adams Middle School and Mr. Kelly and their crew has done an excellent job. And in fact, why I say this is whenever there is a teacher that has not updated the grades or has not done job properly, they were right on top of it and actually able to solve within 24 hours. As I said, SLA is in few hours most of the time. In 24 hours, those things are resolved. So I would like to really commend Dr. Valentine and her crew, the excellent job that they have done throughout the year. The second thing that I would like to congratulate this BOE team for making the changes, for bringing certain things, and I'll give you a couple of examples of. Personally congratulate each and every BOE curriculum committee member. I think placement of 3 categories really helped. It's not an easy. Every parent wants their kids to be in honors or somewhere else. But I think Samantha Grimaldi, the middle school counselor, I think I've been hearing that she's been very patient, setting up the times, formal way, explaining the parents. I think she's taking around half an hour of time and explaining. It's not an easy job. You can imagine that thousands of parents that she's meeting and greeting and explaining that why honors may not be right. I think that is what was missing in this school year. Everybody wants honors, but I think it's a teacher's job to explain the kids, the parents, that why their kid doesn't belong over there. I think my big kudos to Samantha Grimaldi because I interacted with her. but the other counselors, whoever is making the efforts. I think curriculum committee needs big kudos for making things happen. The third thing that I would like to say that is, I think when you guys were elected in January 1st, 5th, I told you guys that you guys need to be united, and 9 of you can be together, because I don't want to come to this meeting at all, because obviously I want to stay away. I think there is a coordinated effort to attack the BOE, bring politics here. At least for God's sake, kids doesn't need politics. 9 of you has to be united no matter what happens. I think we should not bring the politics here, and we should actually work together as 9. I know there are differences with Shivi. I spoke to her. I think Shivi, whatever happened, disturbance may not be right, but I think you guys can work it out. You guys are all grown-up leaders. People look up to you, and we as a parents respect each one of you a lot. That's what I want to say. Let's not delve into either mayor elections or council elections. Please keep the students away from the politics. That's what my sincere request to all of you. And the last but not least, that certificate that you confirmed with the principal, it's 1.5 year pain. Why parents? They have reached out to others. They have reached out to the principal and counselor. It took 1.5 year jury. I know pandemic is an issue, but I think that should have been resolved. And finally, I should thank you and your team for making things, and also thank Principal Dr. Shalap for having this getting done. So with that, I think, once again, I don't care who is the mayor. I don't care who will be part of the council. All I wanted is, please help kids to keep this BOE bipartisan, and let's not entertain or engage or discuss in that one. So that way, I wanted to see this. My kid went to a school that where BOE has done a fantastic job. I'm still believing that you guys can do that great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes. Next.
This way, because that wasn't happening. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great night. It seems like this one's going to be short and sweet. So I just have a couple of questions. First of all, I guess this will go to Dr. Bragan. Evaluations, I was just curious. I know you say you guys do it in-house. Strong is more of a narrative evaluation versus Danielson's more of a rubric. So I was just curious on how you're evaluating administrators and how you're evaluating teachers. Because there are two different things. So I'm just curious if it's a mixture or how you guys do it. The other thing I want to talk about is the help desk. How you are assessing the tickets. Tickets are being closed, but are parent concerns actually being met? Is there a survey at the end just to say how was the process? Did it work well? And then that's how you get the feedback to see if, hey, what adjustments need to be made. So I was just curious. I never used it. I haven't used it yet. So I was just curious if there was an ending to the survey saying, what'd you think of this experience? And that's how you'll get the data that you need to fix whatever you need to do. But kudos to you in that. The other thing I want to talk about is the last board meeting. There was a discussion about what is public and private session, about emailing parents about school and community meetings. Was it rectified, and what was the outcome? Also, last board meeting, we discussed concerns that were brought up about self-insurance. In the last meeting, you guys stated that you guys were going to meet with Alamo the following day. So I was curious, what was the outcome? What were the numbers? Because that's issues that I brought up at the previous board meeting. And then finally, I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm a Democrat, just so you know. And it's really funny when we're discussing about not bringing politics to BOE, because it hasn't been happening for months. So stop it, or just don't say anything, because it's insulting, and it's insulting as a Democrat. So I don't know, man. this is weird. It's just weird. Like, I almost feel like I shouldn't have even got involved. But that's how I feel. And I'm going to say how I feel, because that's who I am as a man.
Okay. So Dr. Brigham, you want to try the evaluation question?
Yeah. Our teacher evaluations go back to something called the essential instructional behaviors, if I believe that's what we call them, or essential teaching behaviors. And that was developed in the, I want to say the late 90s and early 2000s, before there was any requirements to have a specific model. And those models were based on Charlotte Danielson's work, I think it was 96, Frameworks for Teaching, I think was the criteria where they developed the 4 domains, right, for instruction, if I get it right, professionalism, classroom atmosphere, and there was one other, I forget exactly what it was. Nonetheless, our model is loosely based on that, and we have those same domains, and there's a numerical score as is required by the State Department for the teachers. And the evaluation model is similar, but it's not based on the Danielson model. But they're listed on our website, so I could forward that link to you and share that with you. And they're approved. Well, they have to be numeric by the state requirements because people have to get those ratings to determine whether they were efficient or not. So they all are based on numerical scores across different domains, and they have different criteria for each domain. However, there is an opportunity for narratives at each section and to share that, especially in the summative portion as well. But I'll forward you the link, Brian. If you shoot me an email, I'll send it back to you. It's on our website, though, and they are approved by the DOE on an annual basis.
And the comment about insurance?
We met with our insurance broker last week. We actually met today as well, and our projections are on point and actually lower than what we had anticipated. We have meetings scheduled with our collective bargaining agreements. I believe that's next week. Dr. Aldarelli set those up. And I don't want to talk about specificity with that until we talk to our units, because the insurance is for all of our employees. Let's let them get that information to the association leadership, and then we'll get it out to the public. But we're on track, and our projections are actually better than what we had anticipated so far.
Okay, thank you. As far as the suggestion on help desk, yeah, we'll take that. We'll try to see if we can build that in. All right. So, all right, yeah, Sue. I'm sorry, Maria. That's right. All right, next.
Sue Campione, 8 Schiffer Court. One of the hats that I wear is the chairperson of the ETEA Scholarship Committee. And although I don't want to release their names yet because they will be getting the scholarships at each respective awards night, we have 3 winners at each school. One is for a future teacher, one is for a future nurse, and then the main scholarship is a $2,000 scholarship. They get $500 a year. So I just wanted to thank Jody, who's in guidance at JP, and Eleanor, who is a career and college counselor at Edison High. Since I took over the scholarship committee, we've been in a pandemic. Last year I had to switch gears, and when we went remote, and figure out a way for the kids to submit the scholarships, because we wanted to make sure they could do it. And these women were very helpful to me in being able to pick up scholarships that were already here and do things more remotely. This year we were fully remote, and I'd like to thank Patty Timon and Dr. Bragan also for helping us with JP when I wasn't getting responses, and to get that out so that we could have winners. And to thank all the teachers who give up their time to read the scholarships, and we had a meeting on the 4th and did pick winners. And the other thing that I wanted to acknowledge is the ETEA picks an ESP of the year every year, and this year it was announced yesterday that it was Patricia Coletto, who is a teacher assistant in this school. And anyone that knows her or who has worked with her over the years knows how hard and dedicated she is to the children, to her community. She's very involved with the food drive, the food bank at the church. And it is just a very well-deserved honor, and I wanted to make sure that I acknowledged her. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, Maria, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson. I just wanted to reach out and thank everybody who volunteered at the Clara Barton neighborhood cleanup. We've had little children, middle schools, and high school students, so that was very rewarding. My second question is, what is the status for the standardized testing?
It was postponed for this year.
Postponed, okay. And the third thing, I just want to remind everybody, also to thank you for your service, but just to remind to reach out for those students that aren't doing so well during these hard times. Please be vigilant on the suicides and the depression rate for all the teens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, anybody else? Yes.
Good evening. I'm Makan Ramakrishnan. I was in the J.P. Stevens class of 2020.
Get closer.
Oh,
Yes. There you go. Thank you.
I'm Makan Ramakrishnan. I was in the J.P. Stevens class of 2020, and I live on 62 Wintergreen Avenue East. First off, I want to thank all of you for working so hard to provide for all of us a high-quality education, the kind that Edison is known for during these tumultuous times. And I graduated last year, and without a doubt, Edison Public Schools have really helped me throughout my experiences and really prepared me well for college. And I can see how much all of y'all are doing to continue making our schools the best they can be. And so recently, the board announced that we will be changing our applied calculus class to what's more well recognized by colleges and universities, which would be a Calculus 3 class. And I think this is a solid decision, and it will really help our high-achieving mathematics students showcase their talents, especially those who want to pursue math-oriented degree programs like science and engineering. And to that end, this reminded me of the expository writing course that was piloted and arranged by J.P. Stevens and Edison High School, which was a class that students could take for Rutgers University credit. And given that many students who graduate from Edison schools attend Rutgers University, I was wondering if we could pilot a class like this, a Calculus 3 class that mirrors the syllabus and the course structure of Rutgers University. And if we could have students take, say, a final exam at Rutgers University and earn that multivariable calculus credit. And because we will be taking like a full year to study what college students study during a semester, I was wondering like if we could ask Rutgers University if they would be willing to partner with us, or if we've already asked them if they would partner with us. And I have a feeling that they will be receptive to it, given that J.P. Stevens High School and Edison High School students are really high achieving, and they're super up to the challenge, and earning Calculus 3 credit would really be a boost to those students who are considering a math-heavy major in college. So thank you so much for your time, and I really hope that we can make this work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to add on?
Yeah, absolutely. One, congratulations for graduating last year and presenting to the board in such an eloquent manner. That takes a lot of poise for a young man, so congratulations.
Thank you.
We would love to pilot that Calculus 3 class at Rutgers, and we'll reach out. We actually had a meeting with the new Rutgers president a few months ago, a collective with a number of superintendents, and exactly doing what you said, not that class specifically, but working towards more of those dual enrollment classes with Rutgers. As some of the board members know and the community knows, we've created a program in September with a dual enrollment process with Middlesex County College, where the students will be able to graduate, the freshmen entering this year, will be able to graduate potentially in 4 years with their diploma as well as an associate's degree from Middlesex, which is great. We want to expand our relationships with all higher institutions of higher learning. The one sticking point for us with math sometimes is, in order to teach even at the Middlesex County College level math courses, you need a master's in mathematics, and we don't have a lot of teachers that have that. There are some ways around it, and maybe having the college professors work here for a period, but those are some logistical concerns and hurdles we have to overcome. But the new Rutgers president, I haven't spoken to the School of Education department yet, he appears enthusiastic to develop those relationships, so we will definitely explore that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bragan, and thank you to the whole board for helping make this a reality.
Thanks, kid.
Somewhere in the back. Yes.
name is Nilesh Patel. I'm here to talk about
There you go. Thank you very much.
the baseball field issues here at JP, right? And I knew this topic was going to be talked about, so I showed up today. And the field really needs addressing, and I'm telling you this from my personal experience. I'm glad that you guys are taking this issue up. I had a $400 bill for my son because while at one of the practices, right, he snapped his back, right? And that cost me $400. So it is really a bad situation with the fields here. And I've been to the Edison boys field. A lot of difference. So I appreciate that you guys are taking time to address that issue, and hopefully we'll make progress with that issue. Now I have a second issue. This is for Woodbrook Elementary School. My younger son goes there. They had a game this past week, right? While the game is going on, the folks who play cricket came and started setting up cones within the area where they were playing. Coach went and talked to them twice. They wouldn't move the cone. So finally, a few parents went and talked to the guy to get him to take away his cones. So that is an issue. Somebody raised it earlier as well, that it's okay that there are other people using it, but the guideline is not clear as to when they can be there, when they cannot be there. And obviously there's a gap in communication somewhere where the timings aren't right? So those are the two primary things that brought me here today.
Okay, thank you.
First of all, can I ask you, is your son okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
That's the most important thing.
He's back to normal now, but
Good.
you know, he had to sit out first few
No,
games, but
I'm just
good.
glad he's okay, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that concern. And we are taking that concerns about the baseball stadium, JV, varsity, and softball very seriously, and taking a look at it, doing what we can right away. And as I told you, I can't speak for the committee, but the Finance and Facility Committee meeting has talked about possible long-term solutions similar to what we've done at the other high school. I'll leave it at that for now, okay? The other issue regarding the cricket, as with any transition, that the Board of Ed is now overseeing that in the application process and the permits and all that. We did become aware of some issues where the cricket teams were practicing or setting up practice during the week. That's not what we set up for. The games and the stuff was for the weekends across our fields. So we did reiterate that today with an email to all the teams. Our students and our sports within their schools are always the priority when there's any outside use. So we'll re-emphasize that with the teams. And if there's any ongoing issues, please have them address it to me right away and we'll deal with it.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you can sit. I just want to add, as far as the baseball field, I went there twice, and I met some of the parents. I walked the fields, and with the coaches, and I know where the spots are, so we're addressing them. Okay. As far as the cricket issue that was raised up, I think it was yesterday or the day before, the same day we responded, and there is a cricket committee that they have like 3 or 4 captains that communicate with all the cricket captains, I think 50-something of them. We made it very, very clear. When the kids are playing, you guys are off, okay? And we reminded them that our students have the priority of the field. Okay? Even they're playing baseball, you should not interfere. There should nothing going on to interfere with games. And I also told the parents, make sure that the coach knows this, and whenever they have an issue, contact us immediately. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it.
Yeah. Yes, in the back.
Frank Papiani. So I
didn't see you with the face mask.
So I'm here also to talk about the safety of the baseball field as well too, and I've talked to a couple of you already. So first, I just want to thank each of you for certainly responding to me when I did reach out, and Jerry, certainly to you for coming to the field and looking around. I certainly appreciate that you're taking it seriously and looking into it. I was actually going to be talking about something else, but certainly the story that was just mentioned here. I got to be honest, we're lucky, right, that his son is okay. We don't want that next child to be the one that is not okay, right? And we're pushing our luck, right? We're pushing our luck with the field the way it is here. I will tell you, there was a game up there today, and a hard hit ground ball. Our player at third went down to get it, lined it up, and it hit a patch and just went right past his ear. So it dodged another bullet, right? And those are the things that we're really stressing as the concern, and that we want to be able to make sure that it's being, looked into, and not only from a short-term solve, right, but a long-term solve, right? I'm sure every one of us here knows, myself too, I could go out there and I could re-rake something and I could put grass seed down, or I could do whatever, and it's going to look good and be fixed. But come fall, it's going to be right back to where it was, right? Come next year, it's going to be right back to where it was. Unfortunately, nature doesn't help that's kind of a swamp area over there, so it erodes a lot, right? Which is also why I think we keep stressing the fact about the turf field, right? You could continue to fix, but the erosion, we can't control that, right? That's going to be happening. But at least the turf field, I think we'll keep that, certainly in a position that not only for my son who plays here as a junior, my other son who plays here as a freshman, but for the kids to come, beyond that as well too, right? And certainly for the athletics within this school. As I said it before, right? JP Stevens is a fantastic school for education, and it's a great school for athletics too, right? And we just want to see that continue from there. So really, my ask to you is what is the next step, right? And what are we doing to kind of see that go through?
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. Want to address it, or you want me to?
Yeah, and Frank, I think I called today and left a message. I don't know if we've been playing phone tag.
Yeah, we were
for about a
playing
week.
phone tag back and forth, yeah.
We are addressing it, and as Mr. Shee said, I went out on the field too with our Director of Building and Grounds, and some of the immediate concerns, like you said, the pitching mounds and some of the other divots out in the outfield, we're going to address those right away. We have a long-term plan, and there's two that we're working on. One is regarding seeding and planting and all that, and the other is the potentiality of a turf field, but that's an expense. I can't speak to that until the board discusses it at length.
Sure.
But if there's a possibility to do that and provide that here that we've done at the Edison High School field, we would do that as well. So we're working on it, and if there's an immediate safety issue, let the building administration know. If it's not addressed, let me know right away.
Yep.
And if you get a chance tomorrow, give me a call back and we'll talk more at length. I apologize for missing you a couple times.
Okay. Yep, absolutely. No problem at all. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, just want to add, I think one of the parents that I met, I forgot his name, you saw who I met, that the parent, he helps the North Edison baseball, right? One of
Yes.
the parent, and she gave us the mix of the dirt and stuff, so we're going to try to see if we can get the
Yeah.
same thing for the
Yeah.
mound. And Dr. Bragan, the committee gave Dr. Bragan and the administration the option to go look for, costs for the long-term solution. So just
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Yeah, I would just stress the long term. I mean,
I got it.
Again, putting sand on, it's a Band-Aid, right? And to be fair, on the other side of town, they did a Band-Aid first, spent money, and they're right where they were, right, spending more money. So, let's think long-term as opposed to short-term.
Yep, thanks.
No more Band-Aids, that's for sure.
No Band-Aids, correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you again. Anybody else? Any first-timers? Okay. Yeah, you.
Thank you for letting me come back up. I just was hearing concerns, so I just wanted to address them. A suggestion maybe is when you guys actually rent out these fields, provide a policy for the facility use to people that are actually using the cricket fields. So I think if they're aware of what I don't know if there's policy written for Edison about what the policies is or restrictions or how it goes, but I think if someone applies for the fields and you provide them the policy of this is what expected, these are the expectations, I think you avoid all those issues of people just showing up, putting cones and interfering with our kids. That's just one suggestion. The other thing I thought about, if it's a hazard and our kids are being hurt, you might want to look into the scheduling of Edison High School baseball and transportation. I'm thinking about the Giants and the Jets. They share a field. If these kids are in danger of getting hurt on this field that's not adequate, maybe scheduling could be adjusted, transportation could be adjusted, where J.P. Stevens could use the Edison High School field until repairs are being made where it's a safe field to play. And Dr. Bragan, I actually want to recognize you because you're the first person that said, "Is your son okay?" So, good man, you know what I mean? The other thing I was thinking about as well was, a couple of years ago when I first met you, 2 years ago or so when you first started, we talked about that referendum. And I know in that referendum we talked about all these expansions and how we're doing facilities correct. And I know, if I recall correctly, J.P. Stevens, we were looking at doing parking over, fields over, and stuff like that. So I just want to keep it in the back of your head before you guys make a decision on what you want to do with that field. Go back 2 years ago and think about that referendum, because God forbid you fix a field and then the next thing you know, it's 100 yards down there now. So I'm thinking about spending and how you might, wasteful spending and stuff like that. So my first solution I would think of is, hey, if it's not safe, kids are having issues, look at, speak to Mr. Sandell, look at what the scheduling is with the baseball team, and look at transportation, and see if any J.P. Stevens kids could use the Edison fields on an alternate days. It just came to me, Jets and Giants, how they share a field. And that's it. Everybody have a great night.
Thank you. Yeah, Joyce.
Just one quick rebuttal for somebody to say that about being political. I want you to know that I've been in education for 40 years. I also sit on the Education State Committee. I am also a policy person for the NJEA. For someone to try to insult me like I'm just here for politics, that's not me. I graduated from J.P. Stevens. I got a vested interest in this school staying on a high level because it makes my diploma better. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, it's a rebuttal. I think I would like to let Joyce know that we all know about you, we respect you, and in fact in the Facebook, I always follow you and I always comment. We know you that you always look for the community. My message is not for you, Joyce. There are some people entitled to supremacy that this BOE is servants to us, and they make well coordinated. You don't text, you don't talk about it, you don't do this. I know you, so we have a respect for you, so it's not about you. If you look at in the last three things, you brought the right questions and you're running the peace rally and others. We truly, truly appreciate. But we are here to keep the politics separate, since we know that you always bring the right direction. And in fact, last time you gave the direction to the BOE members and asking the women equality, we do appreciate it. So absolutely, we have high respect for you, especially I have high respect for you, not you. It is meant for somebody who entitles, who feels that they're supreme. And the chart with 6 or 7 things. Last time, when the insurance was there, people are texting, and I got the text. It's not a collusion. You should feel in the heart and talk here. You do that, not everybody. They collude, they come to the Facebook, they try to throw mud at it, they cut and paste the things here. That's what I'm talking about. Keep the students away from the politics. I hope you understand. The second thing, Jerry, since it came in, everybody has asked you why self-insurance. I just want to leave one thought. When the town is doing self-insurance, when the biggest school in Newark is saving multi-million, if not 20, 30, 40, using self-insurance, why not we? I think that kind of questioning is not done. I think people are just coming and bombarding you and superintendent for questioning and answer, and no matter how many times they play, replay, doctor those audio tapes, and spreading the hatred across Facebook and WhatsApp. I don't know what the hell is happening. Sorry to say that. What is happening? My kids are not safe with this kind of hatred. I didn't come all the way from West Coast to here just to see this hatred. And last but not least, I forgot to mention, I don't know the principal of EHS. There were some parents who felt bad that JP was 38th rank and EHS is not in the top 100. They didn't blame anybody. They reached out to some of the board of ed members. They met Principal Dr. Ross, and he met the parents. They're talking about STEM. Collaboration is coming in. Hundreds of parents want to work with the principal to see how I can bring my school below 100 in the next 2 years. This is the first time I see in the last 5 meetings, some parents talk about safety. Some parents talk about, and people like Joyce giving the constructive. She's an experienced politician. She can give you the direction and you guys follow. You respect her, we all respect her. But let's not reciprocate the hatred. Some people will feel entitled. They think they're supreme. They can still think that you guys have to listen to them. All my request is, this is a democracy. We are all equal. There is no supremacy and there is no place for hatred. Okay. I truly thank Ross for engaging it, and I think we're asking if Edison High School can come below 100 in 5 years or 7 years roadmap, if it can come below 50. My request to Dr. Shalap is, can we make 38 to 20 below 20 or below 10? I think that is the competition that we need to put the goals, put the analytics over it, and talk about it. Thank you. Sorry for that.
That's all right. So, yeah, your name was mentioned, so I'm glad you're here, and I know what's going on over there. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the kind words, Charles Ross, Principal, Edison High School. Just here, I'd love to hear about the conversations about education as well. Those metrics are all so strange. I would stand this high school, J.P. Stevens, and my high school against almost any high school in the state, and we all know New Jersey has the best education, and I'm sure those numbers will get to those levels even before the times that you put. But I wanted to cycle back to what Board President Shi and Dr. Bragan were speaking about earlier, about things going back to normal. And one of the signs of things going back to normal, aside from having the kids come in and be excited to be there, is the rebirth of rivalries. Now, we missed out on football this year. We missed out on a bunch of different things. And I've been hearing all this talk in baseball, and I was just sitting back there thinking, this Saturday I want to invite everybody at 12 p.m. Edison and J.P. Stevens are playing in the first round of the GMCs at Edison High. And it's at Edison High because, we got lucky and beat the Hawks in the rain 2 Saturdays ago, and so we get to host the first round of the playoffs. So 12 p.m. Edison High on Saturday, Edison versus JP. It'd be great to have the whole community out.
Thank you very much. All right. So this is the first rivalry game, right? After the pandemic. All right, 12 o'clock, be there. And the beautiful red field with the gold circle in it. I'm still having issues with that red field, but your color choice, Ross. All right, so anybody else? See none? Let's go to the closed session.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Township of Edison, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Student matters, Edison wetlands contract, property purchase, litigation brought by former employees and students, ETEA grievances, PERC unfair labor practices, and personnel matters. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Can I have a motion?
Motion. Motion.
Mohan Patel and, I'm sorry, Biro Patel and Mohan Patel.
Okay, motion to adjourn to privileged session, Mr. Burrell Patel?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Ms. Madiker?
Yes.
Ms. Podofsky?
Yes.
Dr. Chen?
Yes.
Ms. Conway?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yes.
Mr. Mohan Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Shi?
Yes.
All yes, motion is carried.
All right, so we do not expect to come back, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good evening.